Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to begin by saying that I fully support this bill, and thank you, Congresswoman Chu, for bringing it before us, and thank you also, Ranking Member, for being here. The the IRS last year, or this year earlier, when we were looking at funding for the IRS, I know that we, looked at different audits that they should have been doing that they were not doing because of lack of personnel. Under the Republican rule, they had been stripped of any gains in being able to hire personnel in order to fully do the work that they are expected to do. So while the IRS policy, I guess it is in their manual to conduct these presidential audits, they only did one. And that was still during the time that the former president, it was also discovered, apparently, that the former president was directing that some people who he perceived to be his enemies be audited. So what we are trying to do here is take a current policy that is in the IRS manual, which I assume is, very big. We're taking that from a policy into statutory requirement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And what is the benefit between having a written policy on a manual that could be ignored versus statutory requirement? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we put the weight of the federal government into this mandate, and if it is the law of the land, then there is greater urgency with which to complete this task. Also, we actually provide for greater timelines and specificity in terms of what they have to do in the audits, whereas it is somewhat ambiguous in the manual itself. So it is very, very important to shore this program up with this bill.
Because to date, they have been focused on auditing, the poor working class, middle-income families, and really failing to do the bulk of the tax cheats as we see them for reasons that they did not have the personnel, that did not have the expertise, they did not have the experience in order to face off with Wall Street type of law firms and IRS consultants, that have all the expertise in the world on the types of loopholes that could be taken advantage of in order to come up with a zero sum or a very low number in paying your taxes, which is really unfortunate. I think that this comes down to, do you believe that the President of the United States, the #1 global economy, #2 is China, #3 is Japan, #4, I'm so proud to say, is my home state of California, that if the President of the United States, who has war powers, who has the codes to our nuclear weapons, should not have to disclose where his money is being earned from or collected from. I think that that is what we are trying to do here, is to provide a system of checks and balance for the general public, the law-abiding public that goes to a neighborhood tax accountant and discloses all of their incomes and provides their information and ultimately pays their taxes. Someone who's not looking for loopholes to get out of paying their taxes. So I'm delighted to have you here. I'm very proud to support this bill. I hope the Senate will take it up before leaving, And I hope that the president will sign it, because I think that this only advances democracy. And with that, I yield back.